Welcome back, YouTube. As you can see, we got the concrete area formed up here. I'm just doing some packing to get all that sand and gravel and stuff packed down good. And we're gonna be pouring by this time tomorrow morning, so that's a good deal. And once this is done, then we can start putting the walls of the shop up, and I'll feel like we're making some good progress. But this is kind of new to me. It's not something I've never really done before at this level. And so we had my soon-to-be wife, we had her dad come out, and he does construction, and so he came out and helped us form it up, and then he's going to come back and help us pour it. But he had a lot of tricks and stuff up his sleeve that we never would have figured out. These boards that are in the middle there, there's going to be a pipe that runs down that. Sorry about that, had to yell at the dang dog for tearing up my nicely packed sand. So anyways, these boards run down the middle here, and there's going to be a pipe that sets on top of them. And then the screed is going to go on this little apparatus right here. That bottom board will come back off. That was so that we could get the sand height right. And then the power screed over there sits on top of these boards, and it'll run on, there's going to be a pipe there and a pipe here. And it'll run on that pipe and shake back and forth and screed the cement down. And then it'll do the same thing on this side, but it'll run on the form board instead of on the pipe on that side. So then once we get it poured and screed it out and everything, we gotta wait a little bit for it to kind of harden up. And then we're gonna float it and everything that we gotta do. And then we'll trowel it with this power trowel. So that'll be fun. I've never run one of those before. I've seen what can happen if things go wrong, but I've never run one before, so hopefully that works out all right. But I have to remove a little bit more dirt down here. It kind of got, I don't know if this got scooped up with the sand or if it was just too high to start with, but right here there's a little lump that I got to take out, and so take that out, and then I need just a little bit more sand up here. It got dark last night towards the end of when we were doing this, and so I couldn't really see what I was doing. So I'm gonna bring a little bit more sand up for that, and so we'll see if this old girl will start. I noticed she doesn't like to start very well when it's cold outside, and it's really not all that cold out today, but we'll see what we get. If you haven't had a chance to see the videos that I did of rebuilding the engine in this thing and kind of reworking it, and how I made the custom handles there to get rid of the T-handle, go ahead and subscribe or head over to my channel, and there's a playlist for it. I'll put a link on the video here so that you can just click on that. But it's kind of an interesting series of videos if you're into these older skid loaders. It kind of shows the process of what we had to do to get it up and running, and just little tweaks and stuff that we did to it on our own to make it better. So go ahead and check that out, but we'll see if we can get her started and get some stuff moved. Well, YouTube, I've never had this thing fight me quite so hard. I'm not really sure why it's doing what it's doing. Usually if it does that a couple of times, and I can kind of keep it running, and it'll pull through. But this time is kind of, I mean, they're definitely getting some heat in the motor, and so it shouldn't be because it's too cold. It's got to be a fuel issue, because if you notice the dark black smoke coming out of the exhaust kind of makes me feel like it's running rich, but I haven't been choking it, and so it's not like it's overloading on fuel because I'm choking it. So I don't know, it's kind of just a goofy little deal. I'll probably try and start it in 5 minutes, and it'll start just fine. But I'll kind of get to work on that and see what I can do, and we'll go from there. Well, YouTube, I think I've decided she's just camera shy, because I went back after I shut my camera off, and a couple minutes later she started right up. So, but running good now, and got done when I needed to get done. So I'm gonna move the rest of this sand in here and finish packing this second half, and then the groundwork here will pretty much be done. So then I just got to get that screed set up. Over there, right in that corner, I got to add some black dirt to the back side of the form just so the concrete doesn't spill out underneath it. And I think that's about all I got to do out here until tomorrow morning. So looks good, and this is really, really big step forward. Is once we get the concrete down, the frame part of the wall will go up very quickly. I mean, that does not take long at all to do the framing. And then really it's just sheathing after that. And my fiance's dad, because he does the construction and stuff, he knows a lot of people, and so he thought of somebody that would probably have some stuff laying around. And there's a guy that when he built a house, he got some extra floor trusses, and we're gonna go pick those up, I think, and we're gonna use those for the roof, since you can't span 24 feet with just a 2x6. You have to have some sort of constructed beam to do it with, and so those floor trusses will work great. And then he's got a whole handful of, or I think 7 or so 12 or 24 footers, and then he's got some 12 footers, and then if we have to, we'll splice some 12 footers, and maybe we'll put I think we're talking about spacing them like 4 feet on center, which is, in a house you'd probably put them 2 foot, but in this back portion right here, we are maybe going to put them just a little bit closer together so that we can have a little bit of the loft situation up top, and can use up top for some storage. But we'll see what happens with that, and yeah, so I'll have to go get those here one of these days, but that's a little ways off yet, because we can do all the framing and that kind of stuff before we need those. So, but good progress, and should be more good progress here in the near future. So check back and subscribe and like, and I'll have more for you here shortly.